So Buffalo Wild Wings is now on my shit list. I had a bad experience there last night, and I handled it with grace, but I worked all day yesterday. I've worked for the last 37 days straight, 7 days a week, day and night, right? So I'm tired. But I had Madison, my 15-year-old, with me, and another young lady that we are keeping for a few days because her mama has to work and didn't have a babysitter. So just prefacing the story. So I did my two houses that I had to do yesterday and the three medical facilities that I do every weekend. Madison works with me every weekend and takes out garbage. Okay. So I put the other little girl to work too. Cheap labor. But I digress. So at 9 o'clock at night, after we finally got done, they decided they wanted Buffalo Wild Wings. So we went to North Myrtle Beach. So we get there, get sat, and the poor meek young lady walks up to the table. She's new. And I could tell that she was new. And she told us that she was new because I had a couple of questions about combos and whatnot because the girls wanted sides with their wings. I don't particularly like Buffalo Wild Wings to begin with, but to each their own. The kids love it. So that's why we went there. But anywho, getting off on a tangent. So we're sitting there and she brings out the drinks. She brings the girls out kids' drinks, which one of them was a kid. Madison's about to be 16. And she asked if they wanted to order off the kids' menu. No, they're adults, or they're not children. They eat grown-up size portions. Cool. So we get our order put in, and just prefacing, but we seen her twice that night. Once whenever she took our order, or actually three times. Let me rephrase that. Once whenever she took our order, whenever she brought our drinks back out, and then she dropped my check off before we had even gotten our food, before we even ate or anything. Never in a sit down dining experience have I ever been given my check before we've even gotten the food, before we've even dined anything. And then we proceed to eat our meal. We don't have silverware. We don't have any napkins, nothing. She doesn't check on us the entire time. And I understand what it's like to be a server. I understand that you can get overwhelmed easily, especially being a baby server and not knowing how to compartmentalize, I guess would be the best word, and deal with all of your customers that you had. And then a big, probably 12 top came in behind us. So I get it. They called ahead. I found out later, but it just made me angry. And I'm all about constructive criticism in my line of work. If I'm fucking up and I'm doing something wrong, I need to know so that I may correct it because I am being paid for a service. But to pay $100 for a meal, right? And to not have any service whatsoever. And I'm normally an amazing tipper. I tip 30 to 50% given the service. Like, rarely do I ever not give a 30% tip at least. And I take pride in that because these servers work hard as hell in the service industry. And they have to work hard for their tips and deal with assholes every day. And I just hope I wasn't the asshole last night because I'm a very direct person. If I am displeased, I'm going to say so respectfully. So I couldn't find her anywhere. And we needed silverware to eat our food. We needed napkins because wings are messy, right? And we didn't even get refills on drinks, nothing. So I was not happy. But I mean, I'm not going to show my ass and be a dickhead. I explained to the young lady up front that I was displeased. I said, I understand that she's new and whatnot, but to have not checked on us one single time in the whole 45 minutes to an hour that we had been there is ridiculous. I said, I mean, I don't feel a tip is warranted. I still ended up giving her $10 on the $78 check, which I mean, it wasn't quite 100. But I mean, I tipped her $10 essentially to bring us drinks, and fuck you, because she didn't even run our food to us. A food runner brought it to us. And whenever it was time for boxes, like, I couldn't find her anywhere. So it pissed me off. And I couldn't find her until the very end after I spoke with the young lady up front and explained to her that we had had no service all night long. And to be spending almost $100 in there is quite disheartening because you're there for the service, you're there for the food, you're there for the experience, right? Any dining experience. If I'm spending my money and patronizing a business, I expect to be serviced, right? But we didn't even get refills, anything. Not even so much as cutlery. And then whenever I went up front to get us forks, we got plastic forks. But I mean, it's cool. I knew they were closing in 2 hours. And then they started vacuuming around the damn table whenever they don't even close till 11. But that's another thing. I own a cleaning business, so I mean, fucking skin particles and shit flying around us because they didn't have a good vacuum cleaner that sucks that shit up. But anywho, they could have waited until we left that area. That's another thing that pissed me off because I don't want people's dusty ass skin particles flying up around us while we're trying to eat. It was just a bad experience, but I did end up having a conversation with the young lady that was servicing us, and I said, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I promise you I'm not. And I said, I'm just a very direct person. So please don't take what I'm about to say wrong, okay? Because I'm not trying to be hateful, but I would want somebody to tell me if I was doing something incorrectly. And I know everybody's not like that. I know everybody's not as hardened to the world as what I am and as direct, I guess. Because I'm just a very blunt fucking person. I said, but this service was no good tonight. I said, you dropped off our drinks and then we seen hide nor hair of you. You dropped off our check before we even ate, before we even got food, anything. But I said, that's not customary in any dining experience I've ever been at, unless we're at fast food, right? You pay for that before you eat it. But any sit down restaurant I've ever been at, you don't receive the check until you are finished dining. What if I had an issue? What if something came out wrong? What if it was fucked up? I'm still being charged for it? Which, I mean, typically, yes, I'll just pay for it anyways and be done with it because I'm not going to fucking complain and ruin somebody's night. But I said, it's all about if you can't balance this many tables, you need to tell somebody. I said, it's not the end of the world, but if you're taking on this many tables, you have to provide customer service to all of your tables. We didn't get drink refills. We didn't get anything. But she said she appreciated me telling her directly. She said she just got overwhelmed and she was sorry about not taking care of us. And I said, I understand completely. And she said, thank you for not screaming at me. I said, I would never. I don't understand. I know it's hard working in customer service. I know it's difficult. But at the same time, you have to balance things out so you can take care of everybody. That's how you earn your money. And I handed her a $10 bill. I said, it would have been more had we actually been serviced and whatnot. But I'm not going to just not give you a tip because we dined in, right? But yeah, I was not happy last night. After having a long ass work day, we just wanted to sit down and have a decent dinner. And that was below expectations. But oh well, hopefully it was a learning experience for her. And I know she'll probably get better with time. But she just needs to tell management or whomever that she can't handle that many tables at one time. So people like me don't get disappointed. But perhaps I'm being a Karen.